Did you know that the next few weeks may be the biggest investment opportunity of your life? It's not hyperbole, it's happening in real life. It's a company that is changing the way that we live, not do business, not go to work, but literally live. And that one company is owned by the richest person in the world. And that one company has a monopoly on things we look at in the sky, and that one company doesn't have the infrastructure. And that's why if we invest properly and invest in the infrastructure, not just the company, we cannot be rich, but maybe become wealthy. Before we go over what company that is and what companies we can take advantage of, as always, like, subscribe, and share it to our channel. In real life, I'm a certified financial planner, blessed to help thousands of clients worldwide, but on these YouTube airways, we're just giving information. And hopefully this information today is going to change your financial trajectory forever. You guys ready? Lego.
And you just wanna get paid, tired of making the money mistakes. Make a payment on your bills and you still late, yeah. Pay for profits to help you seek change, and you just wanna get paid, yeah. Tired of making the money mistakes. Make a payment on your bills and you still late, pay for profits to help you seek change, yeah. Cut the show and just listen. You wanna feel empowered by making money decisions. Residual by the hours can get you a better living. Been check to check, you know, and it could be different.
Did you know we had the information superhighway? Before that, we had communications, cell phone. Pick up the phone, baby. Before that, we had landlines. Before that, we had, the cup, right? But history shows telecommunications, those companies change how we live forever. Without having a cell phone, right? The mobile cell phone, we couldn't be doing all the things we do today from an app standpoint. By having the cordless phones, we couldn't walk around the house talking to individuals and then getting on the information superhighway, aka the internet. These messages came from phone. Telecommunications go a long way. Up in space, it's telecommunications. And the biggest company that's going to have the largest IPO ever is a telecommunications company, and their name is SpaceX. Let me give you some information about SpaceX, because it's not just like a new company, right? Both is developed and curated over time. SpaceX been around since 2002. Elon Musk, years ago, almost 25 years ago to be exact, thought of being able to monopolize Earth out of space. So he's been planning this for a very, very, very long time. This is a telecommunications company. Literally, all the satellites, 90% of the satellites in orbit is from SpaceX. Not from the US government, not from the Russian government, not from the Chinese government, not from Japan, from SpaceX. Think about here in America, if it was 100 fast food companies and 90% was McDonald's. Besides us being all fat, we have to say McDonald's would have been the stock of all stocks because they have a true monopoly. Well, space is not the final frontier. It's just the beginning because of the open air. A lot of space in space. So if you have a monopoly on space, if you have a monopoly on taking pictures and communicating telecommunication-wise here in America, you don't think when SpaceX IPO is not going to go up like crazy? Now, very important. The first 6 months is going to be hyperbolic growth, which means it's going to show up like crazy. That's probably when you don't want to invest, right? Because you have something called the lock-in period. So the lock-in period is over 6 months, and it applies to IPO shares for insiders, insider trading, company promoters who promoted it, and also pre-IPO investors. Basically, the people that had the stock before it went public. You see, the federal government, they don't like people churning or, pulling the rug up under you. So they make you wait 6 months to actually sell the stock. Think about that. You got people that bought the stock in 2002, 2003, 2012, 2022, and they seen the stock go up by literally 4,000%. $1,000 is now 100,000. 100,000 is now over 10 million. And you don't think people want to cash in just a little bit? But from a protection standpoint, FINRA and the SEC say that you cannot sell for 6 months. So for the first 6 months, it's going to continue to go up. But what happens after that 6 month time period, when people then have the ability to start to sell, the stock is going to go down. That's why with all IPOs, we recommend don't even touch it until 6 months after. Now, what's not regulated is cryptocurrency. That's why so many people got hurt so quickly with the Trump coin, because everybody who bought the Trump coin before it went public, as soon as it went public, they sold. That's why the Trump coin in one day went up like crazy, and then the next day went down. There's nothing you can do about it, because the people who held the most money in the Trump coin, they sold, right? If it's only $1,000 worth of Trump coins everywhere, and the people who hold $800 of the 1,000 sell it, it's going to go down like crazy. And the Trump coin will never, ever, ever get back to where it was. We don't got to worry about that with SpaceX, the IPO. Is it just me, or is that you're working hard, but you're not seeing the financial results that you want? We're clocking in, we're clocking out, we have the income, we're making the money, but our wealth is not growing like we want it to. Well, my friends, it's not your fault. You know why? Because we're never taught how money works. We're taught how to spend it, but we're not taught how to leverage the money that we're making right now to build wealth. Now, wealth, it comes in all different shapes and sizes. The question is, how much wealth do you want for you and your family? But the best part about it is help us on the way. Join us during our 5-day mentorship, where you learn how to structure your money, reduce your tax liability, increase your net worth, and build wealth. We'll show you how to go from a wealth builder to a wealth strategist to a wealth creator, and leaving that long-lasting legacy to your family. Click the link below and join us on our 5-day mentorship, where we'll help you accelerate your wealth. Now back to the episode. But let's talk about SpaceX though, and see why it is going to be not only the biggest IPO in the world, but why it's an investment opportunity of your lifetime. So SpaceX has a valuation target of hitting $1.7 trillion to $2 trillion. Meaning when they first go public, they're going to be a $2 trillion company. Think about that. NVIDIA is a $5 trillion company, but guess how long NVIDIA has been on the stock market for? They are by far the biggest and baddest chip maker there is, and they power everything that we do. And SpaceX in one day is going to be almost half of their value. This, my friends, is massive. Yes, they're famous for rockets from a revenue standpoint, but their Starlink satellite division is a true financial driver, because it's providing internet to anybody and everybody at a very, very affordable price. It generates $3.2 billion, which is 69% of their first quarter revenue. So they made $4.5 billion, and $3.2 billion was off the internet of Starlink. And Starlink really ain't doing no advertisements. They did a Super Bowl commercial a few years ago, but that's that. See, Elon Musk was very smart. He wanted to wait till it went public and then commercialize Starlink. Because if it's public, you got Starlink, what's going to happen? You're going to buy some of the stock. And since it's public, you can buy as much as you want to. You can say what you want about Elon politically. Business-wise, though, very, very smart move. But it gets even better for SpaceX, because they manufacture everything in-house. No outsourcing, right? Now, of course, they have the infrastructure needed from other companies to create the rockets and to help with the satellites, but a lot of the things that they do is in-house. So they're able to cut costs. That goes a long way. And the last thing that people don't think about with SpaceX is Tesla. You see, we look at Tesla as a car company, right? I have a Tesla. We see Teslas all over the place. Some people look at Tesla as the next solar company, because you can have Tesla solar panels and Tesla solar battery packs. Some people look at Tesla as a taxi service, because now they're getting into the taxi business. I look at Tesla as robotics. Tesla is creating a huge fleet of robots. So when that gets perfected, SpaceX is not using humans, no resources, no healthcare. A lot of things associated with humans working, they don't have to worry about. 24-hour service from a productivity standpoint, 16 when it comes to workers. And with robots, they're 100% productive. You know, as humans, we have our good days and our bad days. Friends, Tesla being owned by Elon, who owns SpaceX, is a huge win from a productivity standpoint. The rocket's going to be made quicker. They're going to be able to pivot a lot quicker, a lot more productive. They're going to save a lot of money. When that happens, do you think the stock's going to go up or going to go down? Now, there's only one problem. The problem is that a lot of the gains of the stock has already happened from 2002 to today, because it's a private company. SpaceX has made, since 2002, $7.4 million% return. I didn't stutter. 7.4 million% return. That means for every $1,000 a person invested, they made $74 million. Now, of course, everybody didn't buy it in 2002. You may have bought it in 2012. Okay. You bought it in 2012, still $1 million% return. 4,000, you've made $1 million. That's why we say SpaceX, yes, good buy, but a great buy for people that bought it then. So for us as new investors in this, because we could not get into the pre-IPO, these 3 stocks I'm about to talk about right now are the stocks that might help drive our portfolio to the moon, no pun intended. Out of space, no pun intended. The first symbol, STM. You see, when it comes to space, they have meteor showers, they have comets, they have cosmic waste. And from an orbiting standpoint, we don't know what's going on out there. Wouldn't it be great for a company that provided technical, operational, and regulatory frameworks that monitored, tracked, and coordinated cosmic activity so that your satellite or your rocket ship can't get pinged all over the place and be damaged? Because they are expensive. Well, Space Traffic Management, STM, does that. Infrastructure play, right? Think about driving, right? When I'm driving, isn't it great to have stoplights, right? The stoplights do what? Control traffic. They make sure if I'm going here, another car is not going here, we get into an accident. Well, think about STM. It provides the stoplight coverage for outer space. Now, it would be great if stoplights in totality was an investment opportunity. It would be great when stoplights was created, when people first started driving, going from the buggies and the horses and carriages to actually cars, and those stoplights were made. If you can invest in those, how much money do you think you would have made today? Because stoplights haven't went anywhere, way more. We had that opportunity with STM, and the numbers reflect it. Are you like the 83% of Americans who want to get a trust, who want to get a will, want to get a power of attorney, but you don't have one? Well, you are not alone, because 22% of Americans have one. That means 1 out of every 4 families have a trust, a will, and a power of attorney. Which bracket are you in? 1 out of 4 or 3 out of 4? It's okay, because we have the Relax Estate, a fully automated AI platform that allows you to create a trust, a will, and a power of attorney all at the fingertips. And if you are an insurance agent, tax professional, financial advisor, notary, or in any business profession, you can even white label this to your clients. You grow your business, you help your clients, everybody wins. Visit our website, www.therelaxestate.com. Right here, therelaxestate.com, and you can create a trust for your family, or if you're a business owner, want to use it to scale your business and help your clients, you can do that as well. Now back to this wonderful episode. Now they had a partnership with SpaceX. Now they first announced their partnership in 2016 with SpaceX. Then it was a little old company at $7 a share. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Great buy in 2025. And since then, look at that. My friends, 1,000% return over the past 10 years. That is 110% return a year if you annualize it out. Crazy. But hyperbolic was 200%, not even the past year. The bad thing about us as investors short term is that we're buying this at an all-time high. The great thing for us as investors, space is just getting started. And because they provide the infrastructure, making sure that all those satellites, all those rocket ships, all those assets up in the air isn't knocked out over the place and damaged, they are a key component of the success of SpaceX. Well, think about it like this. One collision between one satellite or another, or one meteor shower or comet shower that strikes a satellite will be literally catastrophic. So not only are they the stoplights, but they also kind of provide insurance, right? Wouldn't that be great if a company provided the stoplights and insurance? From an investment standpoint, we can be in that. That's STM. So one stock that I think is going to do very, very, very well long term. Short term has been going good already. Long term, because of SpaceX going public, is STM. But it's another play that also allows us to make some money. And from an infrastructure standpoint, it's needed. And that's VELO 3D, or symbol VELO. We talked about STM. What do satellites and rockets need? Hardware. Now, these are very, very expensive rockets that shoot these satellites up, right? So it's going to be very, very important to A, be efficient when manufacturing these, B, making sure these are steady, and 3, making sure that they are built quickly because we are at an arms race. And guess what VELO 3 does? 3D printing. And with their 3D printing, they're able to build advanced metal that doesn't overheat, that travels quicker, and that can actually be repurposed and used again. So if I use this very expensive 3D metal one time, it doesn't melt away. We get to reuse it again and again and again. See, this is a competitive advantage of SpaceX because it's not just a rocket one time and it's gone. They reuse the rockets. Comes back down, do some testing, go back up again. Comes back down, do some testing, goes back up again. Think about a plane. If it was a plane that we could only use one time from takeoff to landing, how expensive would that be to fly, first off? 2, would we even fly? Probably not. The flying is way easier because of that here and there and back on the same plane. Now we can do that with rockets, putting these satellites into orbit. And the reason why is because of VELO 3D. So it's not SpaceX. From an infrastructure standpoint, they are needed to make sure that SpaceX makes all that money. So do you think when SpaceX goes public and more people dump money into this company and they have more takeoffs, more manufacturing, more spending, you think VELO 3D is going to go up or going to go down? My friends, an infrastructure play. And their stock is showing that already. Now, I like to show this 5-year chart for a reason, because it was at one time at $6,300 a share. Super duper duperly overpriced. Overpriced when they had their partnership with SpaceX. And over time, this thing has been crashing down. So for a person who bought it in 2022 IPO, they're upset right now. You as a new investor, an opportunity. And it went all the way down to $2 a share this time last year. It's at $18 a share now. If it gets to $100 a share, that's a great investment. Gets to $200 a share, that's a great investment. Gets to $300, $400, great investment. I don't think it's ever going to get back to $6,800, but as a new investor, time is on your side because it's already low. And we know they are part of the infrastructure play. Now, internally, they got some things to do because they're still operating on debt, right? They're not profitable. So is this like a catalyst of profitable, got the best balance sheet in the world? No. And a lot of their business depends on SpaceX. So they got to make sure that they pat Elon Musk on the back all the time. They don't say anything negative. So their business depends on SpaceX. But if SpaceX grows like it has been, and once it goes public, all new money comes into it because they have a monopoly over the sky. VELO 3D is a company that's going to make a lot of money because of it. They make a lot of money, so should their stock. It's one more that's a play that is adjacent to SpaceX that we could take advantage of right now. That is actually a fund, not a stock. Destiny Tech Inc. Symbol DXYZ. Now it's publicly traded, means we can buy it right now. And it's a closed-end fund. But the cool thing about this fund is that it gives everyday retail investors access to high growth venture capital backed private companies. And guess what some of the shares of it own? And guess what it owns right now? SpaceX. Guess what it owns right now? OpenAI. Guess what it owns right now? Anthropic, which is Claude. So you actually get exposure to the companies before they actually go public. Join us in our school community as we have modules, classes, courses to go from a taxpayer to a wealth builder. How to use our cliff, dip, bear strategy to do better with your investments. How to acquire businesses and how to use your retirement plan to grow and not pay taxes. What? I can have a retirement plan grow and not pay taxes? Yes, your IRA or even your 401k at your employer. This and other things we focus on in our school community, the Relax Investor. And guess what? You get 7 days free access, and you get our weekly coaching calls every Wednesday. You and hundreds of people ask questions to 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure business owners that tell you how they created their business, how they run their business, and how their finances is as smooth as it can be. So click the link below and join us in our Relax Investor Academy to help you scale your finances. So it's a space play, but it's also a play on OpenAI. It's also a play on Claude and all the other high performing private companies. You have that in one fund. And this fund is fairly new, right? Came out March 24th. So 2 years old. Super hype up when it said, hey, we're going to buy all these private companies. And it came back down. Up again. Down. Look at that. Up again. Down. But from $20 a share November to now 47, doubled your money. Investment wise, though, we're buying this at a 31% discount. So you mean to tell me, let's look at another chart, y'all. You mean to tell me something changed with Anthropic, OpenAI, SpaceX? A few months ago, it was at $71 a share. Now it's at $48. Nothing's changed. The growth of these companies, hyperscaling wise, may have changed, but nothing's changed. Even if it gets back to $71 a share, that is a 60% gain. Now, we don't know what other high-flying pre-IPOs they're going to invest in. We don't know if they're going to go up or flame out. But over a short term, again, we don't talk about trading, but a short-term investment might be very good. OpenAI trying to go public this year. Anthropic probably go public next year. This, my friends, is an investment opportunity short term we might want to take advantage of. Now, past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and nothing's guaranteed but death and taxes. But this ETF, this closed-ended fund, Destiny Tech 100, gives us the opportunity to be in stocks before they go public and preferably grow, and grow some more. So that, my friends, are the 3 investments that will change our financial future. SpaceX, when it hits the market, don't invest in it day one. 6 months after, then you want to look into it based on your risk. But these infrastructure plays we talked about might be something you want to look into if you want to change the trajectory of your wealth forever. But y'all put into the comments, am I right about this? Am I wrong? Is it other companies that have an infrastructure play to SpaceX I'm forgetting about? If so, hit me up in the comments. You know I respond. As always, like, subscribe, share. Thank you for rocking with me all this long. Over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, share this information out to get other people rich and wealthy. Let's make some painful profits together, y'all. Peace.